Hello everyone, and welcome to this Smart Data Research UK webinar. Today we'll be talking about our exciting new fellowships funding opportunity to support innovative research that uses smart data to solve real-world challenges. My name is Catherine Holden. I am Head of Strategy, Policy and Partnerships at SDR UK, and later on I'll be joined by my two colleagues, Rachel Ranchild, who is the Senior Manager for Research, Strategy and Impact, and Liz Beckett, who is our Senior Portfolio Manager. So for the next hour or so, the purpose of this webinar will be to do a couple of things. It's to provide more information about the fellowships opportunity, it's to discuss the application process, and also, most importantly, to answer your questions. So if you do have any questions for us, please type them into the Q&A box, which you should see on your screen. I think it's the top of your screen, and we will endeavour to answer as many questions as possible. If you feel comfortable to do so, please do add your name and organisation. It really helps us out, and we'll be able to provide a direct response if we don't get to your question today. We will also look to update our FAQ page, which will be posted in a minute, post-webinar where necessary. And this FAQ page aims to address some of our most commonly asked questions. I would add that if you have any applicant questions that are specific to your set of circumstances, it's probably best to email us at smartdataresearch@ukri.org. Just before we begin, we wanted to give you a really short, high-level introduction to Smart Data Research UK and the work that we're doing. So for those of you that perhaps don't know, Smart Data Research UK, or SDR UK for short, is the UK's national programme for smart data research. And our mission is to unlock the power of smart data for research to help solve today's most pressing social and economic challenges. And as you can see from our slide here, we focus on broadly 4 thematic pillars, which are productivity and prosperity for all, health and well-being, digital society, which is around better understanding the challenges, but also the opportunities posed by rapid advancements in technology, and sustainability. So that's topics such as green growth or the transition to a more sustainable future. Now, you may be asking, what is smart data? Well, we here at SDR UK define smart data as data that is generated whenever we engage with the digital world, whether that's shopping online or using social media or getting directions. And when this data is used responsibly for scientific research, it can really transform our understanding of complex social challenges, particularly when combined with other data sources such as traditional data or perhaps administrative data. So what is SDR doing in this space? Well, we are investing around 59 million over 5 years to do a few things: to provide secure smart data to researchers, to help safeguard public trust, and to build capability for cutting-edge research. And all of this is to hopefully generate some really great examples of social and economic benefits that this research can bring. And as you can see from this slide, we're trying to do that in a few different ways. So we have recently funded 6 new data services, which I'll talk about in a bit more depth in a minute. We also aim to support and champion innovative research. So we're developing a research programme which includes initiatives such as this fellowship programme to really unlock the potential of smart data research. And for us, meaningful public engagement is also really important. So earlier this year, we published our public dialogue report for 2025. And that was really, I guess, conducted to ensure that we really make sure we're listening to the public voice, and to ensure that the public voice helps shape the future direction of our work. And finally, all of this work is supported and coordinated by a central strategic hub, which is embedded in ESRC, or the Economic and Social Research Council. Now, finally, I briefly wanted to give you a little bit more information about our data services in case you haven't come across them before. So we've invested nearly £30 million in new data services, which, as I mentioned, is really around enabling researchers across the UK to access new forms of smart data. And we're supporting a network of 6 data services, which you'll see on our next slide, that are based out of leading UK universities and research organisations. And each service acquires, stewards, and enables safe access to diverse smart data within secure environments that protect privacy while also enabling breakthrough research. And to give you a really quick flavour of the 6 data services and what they do and the art of the possible, I just wanted to run through them all very quickly to give them the time they deserve. So let me discuss those. The first one is the Financial Data Service, which we also nickname FINES. And they're using banking and finance data to understand economic resilience and inequality. We then have the Geographic Data Service, or GODS, that uses linked location-based data to explore place-based outcomes and disparities. The third data service we have is the Health and Sustainable Places Data Service, or HASP, and they're looking at retail, transport, and lifestyle data for cross-cutting health and sustainability research. Imago, or the data service for imagery, is using satellite imagery to uncover patterns in environment, housing, and well-being. Smart Data Donation Service, or SDDS, is enabling citizens to donate their digital trace data for scientific research. And finally, Smart Energy Data Service, or SENSE, is using energy system and infrastructure data to support reducing energy disparities and improving energy efficiency. So if you'd like to find out more about SDR UK and the work we do, then please do not hesitate to get in touch. Our email address, as I mentioned at the beginning, is smartdataresearch@ukri.org. Now I'd like to hand over to Rochelle, who's going to give a bit of an overview of the fellowships opportunity. Thank you.
Just to recap, my name is Rochelle Ranchard. I am a Senior Research Strategy and Impact Manager with Smart Data Research UK. And I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of the fellowship opportunity that we have recently launched. Before I do that, though, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the information presented here is available in detail in the funding opportunity specification, which you can find on the UKRI Funding Finder website. And the link to the Funding Finder website will be made available to you in the Q&A. This presentation and the one that follows by my colleague Liz is really a summary of the relevant information in the opportunity specification. And we would advise you to read that specification document very carefully to ensure that you address all the required elements in your application. We can move on to the next slide. So in essence, the Smart Data Research Fellowship opportunity is an 18-month fellowship to undertake innovative, impact-focused research using smart data to address a critical real-world challenge which is relevant to the UK. Fellows will receive £200,000, of which UKRI contributes 80%, to deliver on the following objectives. Right? Fellows will be expected to advance impactful and innovative research. Fellows will undertake original high-impact research that demonstrates how smart data can address a significant real-world challenge. The second objective is that fellows will be able to develop their research leadership through this fellowship and grow as leaders in smart data research by developing new skills, being able to tap new networks and enhance their areas of expertise. And finally, fellows will be able to strengthen this, are expected to strengthen the smart data research community They'll do that by building a connected and collaborative community. And we expect fellows to take part in activities that support collaboration, knowledge sharing, and long-term impact within their research. Next slide, please. In terms of the research areas, this opportunity will support research from any discipline, but it must be aligned to at least one of SDR UK's 4 thematic pillars. I am aware that Catherine spoke about those 4 pillars in her presentation, but because so many of you have joined rather after that, I'll just run through it again. So the 4 pillars in which your research should be situated essentially is productivity and prosperity for all. And research here should look at interrogating the drivers of economic growth and prosperity in the UK at local, regional, and national scales. The second thematic pillar is around health and well-being, and research here should support improvements in population and public health to enable healthier, longer, and fulfilling lives. The third pillar is around digital society, and research here will interrogate and investigate how to understand the challenges and opportunities presented by rapid advances in technology and our increasing engagement with digital systems. And the fourth pillar in which the research should be situated is around sustainability. And here research looks at enabling environmental sustainability and supporting decarbonization and the green transition. Next slide, please. So we have spoken about the fact that this work or your work, the research, should be directed at addressing a real world challenge. By real world challenge, we understand it as a practical challenge affecting the lives of people, communities, organizations, and systems in very tangible ways, right? And it may be social, it may be economic, environmental, technological, etc. in nature. And solving this challenge will have benefits for society, with outcomes which positively impact on the public good. For the purposes of this opportunity as well, the challenge must be relevant to the UK. Next slide, please. Thanks. In terms of the impact that we are hoping to see through this, we understand research impact as the demonstrable contribution that excellent research makes to society, the economy, and the environment. Applications for the fellowship should indicate how activities will be pursued to support impact. And there are 3 different types of activities which fall into this understanding of impact. That is research, communication, and dissemination, which is essentially tailoring, for example, tailoring your research outputs to policymakers, practitioners, or segments of the public, or alternatively organizing an event which involves a wide range of stakeholders, including policymakers and practitioners. The second type of activity is around research synthesis, cohort leadership, and engagement. And examples of activity here include collaborating with other fellows on a co-authored journal article or other research outputs, working with other fellows and our smart data research data services to organize a research event focused on an area of interest, which is aimed at building a community and enhancing bodies of knowledge. And the third activity is around training and development opportunities. This could be, for example, doing some training for yourself to enhance your capability as a smart data research leader. And we expect training in this phase of the project to focus on skills related to impact and knowledge exchange, or skills relating to develop your research leadership and ability to lead future projects as well. As part of this opportunity, we expect that a minimum of 20% of the award time should focus on impact-related activities, and these should happen through the lifetime of the grant, so not as an addition at the end of the research project. Next slide, please. In terms of the data that you'll be able to use and what we envisage for this opportunity, you may use smart data sets exclusively or in combination with other data. So for example, smart data plus administrative data or traditional survey data. We do encourage you to use the smart data sets held by our data services, but importantly, it's important to note that this is not a prerequisite for the application, that you can use smart data outside of our data services as well. The data sets, and this is very important, the data sets should be used, that are going to be used in the project, must be identified within your application, right? So access to the required data sets must be established or agreed at the time that you make your application. And you need to evidence this with letters of support from the relevant data controllers or the SDR UK data service where you are accessing your data from. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Liz to talk through the application process and how best to apply for this opportunity. Thanks.
Thanks, Rochelle. Next slide, please. Thank you. So my name is Liz Beckett, Senior Portfolio Manager at Smart Data Research UK. I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking through the key aspects of the application and the assessment process. First of all, who can and can't apply? We welcome applications from researchers at all career stages and from all disciplines. Researchers new to using smart data are particularly encouraged to apply. If you are new to using smart data, you should include mentoring and capacity building arrangements and clearly describe these as part of your application. We encourage a minimum time commitment of 0.6 FTE for the fellowship, although we will accept fellowship proposals below the suggested time commitment. Applicants who are employed on part-time contracts should commit a proportionate FTE level to the fellowship. You must be based at an eligible UK organisation for the duration of the fellowship. If you're not sure if your organisation is available, please check the list on the UKI website. A link is provided in the funding finder document. There are a few categories of applicant who are ineligible. Leads and co-leads of our current SDR UK Data Service grant, specifically those with 0.2 FTE funded as part of those grants. As well, the SDR UK Accelerator Award holders with more than 6 months left on their awards as of the 31st of January 2026, and applicants at non-UK organisations. As I've said, you must be based at an eligible UK institution for the duration of the fellowship. Next slide, please. I'm now going to briefly cover the main questions that you need to respond to, although detailed guidance is provided in the core document on the UKI funding finder. When you are completing your application, please do read the questions carefully and provide all the information requested. In the vision, first of all, in the vision section, we ask you to set out what you're hoping to achieve with your proposed work. Focus on the quality and the importance of your work, the potential to generate new knowledge and advance current understanding. Set out the impacts your work aims to achieve and make sure you include a problem statement which sets out the significance of the challenge, how your research addresses it, and how you'll use smart data. Next, in the approach section, set out how you'll deliver the proposed work, describe the feasibility and effectiveness of how the project is designed and delivered, how you will maximise the translation of outputs into outcomes and impacts, and identify the data types and data sets you will use in the project and provide evidence of access and support from relevant data controllers. You should also provide a project plan and an impact plan. Next slide, please. Applicant capability to deliver the work. In this section, explain why you're the right candidate to deliver this work. Use the resume for research and innovation format to describe your relevant skills and experience and how this will help to deliver the proposed work. Career development. In this section, describe the value of the fellowship for your career and how you use it to benefit others. Ensure you've identified career development goals appropriate to the funding opportunity and to your career stage and field. Cover the mentoring arrangements that are proposed and how they are appropriate to you. Host organisation support. In this section, describe how the host organisation will provide a supportive research environment for your work together with training and development opportunities. Cover any financial or practical support that's being provided and how the research environment will contribute to the success of the work in terms of the suitability of the host organisation and strategic relevance to the project. Resources and cost justification. In this section, set out what resources you'll need to deliver the work and how much it will cost. Ensure you justify the most costly resources, in particular staff costs, travel, training, facilities and infrastructure costs, cost of data acquisition and other resources costed under exemptions. Further detailed information on this section is provided in the guidance on the funding finder. Next slide, please. Ethics and responsible research and innovation. In this section, describe the ethical and/or RRI issues relating to the work and set out how these will be managed. Discuss any legal and ethical considerations of collecting, releasing and/or storing the data where applicable. Identify any formal information standards that your work will comply with. Project partners. In this section, add information about any project partners and their type of contribution, whether direct or indirect. Please provide project partner letters or emails of support, and there is an upload function for you to attach PDFs of documents. Data management and sharing. In this section, you should set out how you will manage and share data collected or acquired through your work. All data from your project should be deposited either in an SDR UK data service or with the UK data service. We strongly advise contacting the SDR UK data services early to discuss data availability and deposits where applicable. Facilities. If you do need to use a facility as part of your project, ensure you have their prior agreement and confirmation of usage costs, so that if you are offered funding, they will support the use of their facility on your project. Next slide, please. How to apply. Applications to this opportunity must be made through the UKRI funding service. Applications can no longer be made through GES. Fellowship applicants are responsible for completing the application on the funding service, and only the host or lead research organisation can submit the application to UKRI. The use of generative AI tools to prepare funding applications is permitted, however, please do so with caution and consult the relevant UKRI policy on their use. A link to the policy is provided in the call document on the UKRI funding finder. And just to reiterate that all relevant guidance to assist in submitting the application is included in the call document on the UKRI funding finder. Next slide, please. Assessment process. Okay, following UKRI office checks, applications will be reviewed by an expert panel. The expert panel will review applications independently against the criteria set out for this opportunity, and each application will be assessed by at least 2 panel members. Applications will be allocated to one of 3 tiers based on the panel's assessment. Funding will be allocated to the top tier as a priority. Applications in the middle tier may be recommended for funding using partial randomisation, subject to the availability of funds. The final funding decision will adopt a portfolio approach to select a diverse range of projects, balancing innovation, potential for impact, thematic and geographic focus and feasibility. ESRC will make the final funding decision, and decisions will be communicated to all applicants in December 2025. Next slide. Finally, just a quick reminder of the key points. The total fellowship award value is 200,000 FEC, of which the ESRC will fund 8%. Duration of the fellowships are 18 months. Projects must start on the 1st of February 2026. Applications close at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, the 23rd of September, and late applications will not be accepted. A reminder of our contact email address. If you do have any questions during the application process, it's smartdataresearch@ukri.org.